Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Ninjababes podcast. I'm Cara Mack, and today I'm here with Megan Budway. Say it again,
Budway.
Budway. I was like,
Please leave that in.
I was feeling really nervous about how to say your name, and then of course I botched it. Megan Budway. Hello.
Yes.
Welcome. It's cool that you're in a classroom. So let's just jump in then. So what do you teach? What are you doing?
I am an elementary music teacher, so I teach kindergarten all the way through fifth grade. All different ages, all different sizes, but it's a lot of fun.
And you're the music ninja, right?
I am the music ninja. Yep.
Nice. Awesome. So I'm really excited to talk to you today because you competed this season on A&W 13. I'm so curious to hear more about your story and who you are as the music ninja. And later on in the episode, we're going to talk more about what this identity of being a ninja can look like and sometimes how that's good and bad. And we're going to just dive more into that topic of the athlete identity. So Megan, why don't you just tell us more about where are you from and how did you get the name as the Music Ninja? I guess we can kind of assume, but I want you to tell us your story.
Absolutely. So I am from Central North Carolina. I grew up in the Raleigh area. I've pretty much been here my whole life, other than some traveling for some music gigs. But I started Ninja, well, in 2018, my dad and I started Spartan races because my dad trains Ninja with me.
Okay.
And we did our Spartan trifecta, and we quickly figured out that we really hate running, and we really liked obstacles. So the gym that we were training Spartan at, Warrior Tech in North Carolina, they also do ninja classes. So we started ninja classes, and we quickly fell in love with just doing obstacles in the community and everything at Warrior Tech. And then I did my first competition, a local competition in 2019, and my first league competition in the beginning of 2020. And it's just been awesome from there.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's awesome that, you started getting into the obstacles and all that, like with your dad. That's pretty cool. And
He's
that's like a fun,
beast.
awesome. I was gonna say it's a fun way to bond, but it's also like can be so motivating if you're like, if my dad can do this, then I want to do it.
Exactly.
So cool. Yeah. So then, have you applied for A&W years previous to this, or was this your first year? Tell us about that.
I applied for season 12. It was kind of a last minute decision since I was still pretty new to the scene, but I made a video, used some of my kids in my classroom, and then with the short season, they didn't do a lot of callbacks. So then I decided I would submit again for season 13, and I got lucky that they called me for the show.
Lucky number 13, right?
Yes, lucky number 13.
Isn't that what they always say?
Apparently it is my lucky number.
Right? Yeah, no, totally. No, that's awesome. Well, congrats. So congrats to your rookie year on the show. How did it feel to get the call?
So things were like winding down, especially because I know they were kind of calling by region. So a lot of people around me had been called, and I was actually telling my husband, we were on the way to the gym, and I was like, it's just not going to happen this year. And he knew that I was getting called that night because they had reached out to him to be ready. And he was like, I don't know. And so we were working out, and I looked down at my phone, and I was getting a phone call, and it wasn't an 828 number or whatever.
Or 818, yeah.
818, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to answer this. And he was like, you should probably answer it. And so it was a huge surprise because I really thought that they were done, and I was like, I'll just, keep training and hope for next season.
Nice. What a surprise. That's so fun. Did he have his camera ready and recorded your response?
He did, and he all day when I would like joke with him or poke fun at him, he'd be like, I'm just gonna tell Ninja not to call you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They haven't called me yet. So he knew all day.
That's so funny. It's like a wedding proposal when you're know what's happening. You're having all these weird, ironic conversations that don't make sense. That's so funny.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, so then what was it like once you got the call, preparing and just getting ready for your first season? What was going through your head?
Once the excitement died down a little bit, we had a pretty good chunk of time to train before qualifiers. So I was going to the gym as much as possible and just running courses to build endurance and kind of trying to mimic a qualifying course, but really just kind of putting my foot on the pedal and getting ready to go.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I know it can be like, I feel like for me every year, at least as soon as I get the call, it's like this exhilarating moment of like, whatever I'm doing right now doesn't matter. I need to go to the gym.
Yep.
It's like
I need
midnight.
to go train.
I need to go to the gym like right now.
Exactly.
I know. And this year it was February when I got the call, and I was away for the weekend, like in the woods with my husband. And I got the call there, like in a cabin. And as soon as I got the call and I was like, okay, this is happening, I literally like got down on the floor and started doing push-ups and like,
I need to train right now. I'm not going to be ready.
Yeah, if I don't get this out of my system, I'm gonna feel like I'm not doing enough. So I know it can be all consuming. It's like a crazy feeling to be like, this is really happening. I made that huge submission video, didn't know if they would care, and now here I am. It's happening.
It didn't feel real. Like I knew it was real, but it really didn't feel real until I got on the plane to go to Tacoma, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's really happening this year.
Amazing. Well, so then once you got there, I know, so we can't say specifics because the episode will air pretty soon. I think the tentative date that I've heard is June 21st for our episode.
Yes,
we were in the same region, so we competed in the same episode.
We did.
Yeah. So June 21st, everybody will have to watch out for me and Megan. But once you got there, like, what was the feeling? Again, no specifics of like obstacles, but how did it feel once you were there?
I feel like everything just happened so fast. Like I was just so excited to be there. I didn't really care how I did, first year. Of course you want to make an impact so people know who you are and, hopefully you get some airtime. But I was just so stoked to be there. I was like, I just want to get through obstacle 1 and then I don't care what happens after that. And being around the community of people who are new like me or who have been doing this for years and years, it's just such a wonderful environment to be in.
Absolutely. Are your kids from school going to be watching you and like cheering you on?
They're so excited. They ask me every single day, did you win? That's every day. Can you tell us how you did?
Question.
Did you win? Yes. And I'm like, you'll have to wait and find out. And we've been doing like American Ninja Warrior themed lessons as my specialist team. So in art, music, PE, library, and everything, to kind of like introduce it to them, and so they have been very, very excited for the new season.
Nice. Okay, so I'm always curious, the classic starting line, like boop, 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 boop. Have you figured out what those notes are? Can you play it?
Oh man, now I really want to. I have a piano right here, and now I'm really curious. I will figure that out.
Yeah, I like that. It just popped into my head, and I was like, oh, wait, I've never considered this. Yeah, that's so fun.
I think it's a fourth. I think it's an interval of a fourth. Boop, boop,
Everyone.
Boop, boop. Oh, no, that's a fifth. Okay. All my music people know what I'm talking about.
I know, exactly. I know. Everyone's thinking right now and like booping out loud wherever they are. I love it. So how have you infused Ninja into your passion with music? Because I know you just mentioned kind of having like Ninja Warrior focused lessons. What does that look like?
So for me, we kind of did like a review game, and we went outside and I built a very basic budget obstacle course for the kids. But we like reviewed everything we'd done this year in music, and they had to run through the little course to answer the question for their team.
Okay,
so that was like my Ninja Warrior lesson. But outside of that, I just use the idea of like whatever you put your mind to, whether it's music, sports, art, whatever your passion is, that you're capable of doing it, but you have to put in the work. It's not just going to come to you easy. But if you put in the work and you put your mind to it, that is achievable.
Yeah. No, it's an awesome lesson to know and keep in mind. And I think that is one of the things that I love about Ninja Warrior is like, a lot of us come into it with some sort of natural like athletic talent or ability, but until you learn the strategy, until you figure out how to really like put it all together, you might not get very far. But then it's like as it clicks and as you're learning, you can just excel. And I know we see that this season as well as like so many of the teens even who are coming in. It's so cool to see. Yeah, like it just seems like they have this raw talent and you're like, what? what? Like, give
They're
me some
so
of that.
good.
I know the first episode is aired now, and so we saw that last night if you watched, but it
Oh yeah.
was, yeah, it was so cool to see, and yeah, it's just really exciting. I know Isabella is coming on the podcast in a couple of weeks. We'll be interviewing her, and so
Oh
it's just like,
yay.
it's really exciting. Yeah,
She's amazing. She's a beast.
absolutely. So getting back to your music, so what do you play and like how many instruments do you play? Like tell me more about what you like. Were you ever in a band? Like tell me everything about
Okay.
your music life.
So I grew up playing piano lessons and like singing and choruses and theater and stuff. In middle and high school, I was in band and marching band. I played saxophone was my primary instrument.
Nice.
And then when I got to college, I actually started studying voice more and became a classical vocalist and sang lots of opera was my favorite.
Oh wow.
I love singing opera, singing really high. But the band question, I was actually in a band in high school. We played a couple local shows and did an album and all of that, but we didn't get very far.
Nice. Awesome. Did A&W have you sing or play anything in your interviews?
They had me sing a lot of opera, a lot of very, very high notes, yes.
Amazing. Okay, I hope we get to see some of that in the episode.
I hope so too.
Right? I know there's so much cool footage that they always shoot, and a lot of times you don't really get to see any of it
I
if they don't end up
know.
using it. So
I guess
we'll
we'll
see.
find
see.
out.
Yeah, we'll find out. Outside of teaching, what else do you do? Are you involved with like any other coaching or working with kids in any other way?
I coach summer camps as my summer job at our gym, Warrior Tech. I kind of take the lead on that sometimes. So I'll be doing that again this summer. And I also am part of the Neighborhood Ninjas Mentor Program. And so that started this year, and that's been an awesome way to mentor children. And my mentee is amazing. She's so cute.
Oh, that's amazing. So what else can you tell us about the mentorship program? Because I know Casey Rothschild has talked about it before in the podcast. And I think this is the first, like, almost full year that the mentorship program's been going on, as far as I know. So,
Yeah. So it's a super awesome idea. Each of us are paired with a mentee, and we meet a couple times a week based on our schedule. We meet up to an hour or more a week. And with my mentee, she lives in Texas. So we get on a Google Meet twice a week, and we just talk about school or like what she's been doing, what she needs help with, goal setting, whether it's Ninja or outside of Ninja. Some days we get on and she just wants to like show me everything she did that day, you know, and we
Yeah.
don't talk about Ninja at all, and that's fine. Sometimes she wants to show me her runs from a competition that weekend, and we'll kind of like go through it and talk about how she felt or what she wants to work on. And it's really cool to have that connection with somebody else in the community that lives so far away, but we're super similar.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. And I love that Neighborhood Ninjas is doing that and, you know, working with so many kids all over the country. So that's really awesome. Yeah, if people want to find out more about that, I will make sure we have a link to the mentee program like in our description. And I don't know when the next like cycle is starting where new kids could get involved. Do you know when that would be?
I'm not sure because this one started, I think it was in the fall. So
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to wait till next fall, like once we get through the summer, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I can always follow up with Alex Katz and get some more information
Yeah.
out there for that, but that's awesome. So, one of the things I was thinking about when I started putting together our episode today is just about this whole topic of identity, because I know in Ninja, it can feel so, like I mentioned before, like all consuming. Like my goal is to get on the show, and all year round I'm doing competitions with different leagues, and I'm going to the gym, and you know everything is focused on like, am I progressing? Like, am I completing courses? How many, you know, like we said before, like that classic question that kids always ask ninjas who've been on the show, like, did you win? Well,
Yes.
did you win? I mean, like, really, there's very few people who have quote unquote won. And so even just that question is so skewed. And it's like, I could say no, and then they could think so less of me. But I could say, yes, I accomplished my personal wins, and it might go over their head what I mean by that. But then their
Yeah.
perspective of me is going to be so different. just because I gave that answer. And so it's like, and other people could break it down like, oh, have you hit a buzzer? Have you done this? Have you done that? But like sometimes that it gets under my skin, just that whole concept,
Oh
because
yeah.
we're putting so much value on are you famous? Like, have you won something? When really there's so much other, worth and value to look at when we're just looking at, have you made personal goals that you've achieved? Like, have you enjoyed this process? Has it built your character as a person? So there's all these other wins and like valuable topics that we don't talk about. We're just looking at these big picture,
Yep.
like, are you a celebrity and have you hit a buzzer and all that stuff. And I think to me, it gets very dangerous when we're teaching kids that that's what matters and ignoring all the other stuff that I think matters more. So I just wanted to talk about that topic with you today. Is that something that you've noticed, even with the kids that you teach or in general? Have you noticed just this, I want to say like overemphasis on that ninja identity?
Yeah, one of the big reasons I wanted to get on the show or to have a platform with my students is just to kind of talk to them about like you can fit into more than one box. So for them, especially the littles, like kindergarten, first grade, they're like, how can you do sports when you teach music? It's not possible. You can't do two things. You should teach PE if you do sports, or you should just do music. And so I do think that putting so much pressure in the box idea, putting so much pressure in that one thing, you can't fit everything into there. And so it is okay to have more than one identity. So for me, that is ninja, but I also am a musician, I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor. And so I think it's hard to put so much pressure in one area like that. Like you said, did you win? I had to explain to my kids what it takes to actually win American Ninja Warrior. And
Right.
the older ones are like, oh, wow, that's really hard. And so they kind of understand, like, there's more to it than just hitting a buzzer, winning the gold medal, winning $1 million. That's what I'm trying to teach them, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like you mentioned, even looking outside of ninja, I mean there's like two main things I wanna get across, like looking outside of ninja, just looking at myself. I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a podcaster, I'm a sign language interpreter, I am a coach, I am a friend, like all these different things that like yeah, a lot of people say like, well, if you want to be good at something, like you have to put all your effort into it. Like, yes, I get that, but when you're looking at like the self-esteem or like the identity factor of where are you
Yes.
getting your self-worth and your validation from, when it's all in one, all your eggs are in one basket, like everything is in ninja. If you get hurt or if you lose a competition or something, that can be earth-shattering to your confidence and your value as a human. And so I think that's why I like to put forth like, hey, pay attention to all the ways that you have that self-worth just as being a person. Like,
Yes.
forget all the other labels. Like, you have value just as who you are when you wake up in the morning. And a lot of times I'll encourage parents too to encourage their kids, like, I'm proud of you no matter if you fall on the first obstacle or you hit a buzzer. I'm still completely proud of you because you're putting in the hard work. You're waking up and you're going to practice. Like all these things, like look at, the value of how they're building their character, not just what they're winning or not winning.
Yep.
And I think that carries over into so many areas of life.
It does. We do this activity with the older kids at my school, which I really like, where we make an identity chart. So, like, you write your name in the middle, and it's a bubble chart. And you write everything about yourself on the outside. Like, for me, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm an aunt. And it's not just the things that, like, yes, I'm a ninja, but it's the things about yourself that you're proud of, not just that.
Right.
I would put teacher there, or like I'm a friend, just simple things like that kids sometimes need to be reminded that I am all of these things and I am proud to be all of these things.
Yeah, exactly. And then looking at like the ninja and like competition aspect of it, I think I've had this personal experience. I know other people have too, where maybe you get on American Ninja Warrior and you're so excited and so proud, and then you feel like it's this big, huge deal, which it is. But then if you don't do well, or if you don't do as well as you're hoping to do, it can feel so crushing, like, oh, I was there, but like I did a bad job or whatever you feel. If it can
Or
feel
like
so,
you let people down almost
yeah,
because like all these people are like, oh, you did this thing, and it can feel like you put all this pressure on yourself.
exactly. Yeah. And then it's like all the questions of how did you do? How did it go? And then if you initially can't even talk about it because you're not supposed to be talking about it because we signed a contract, then that's, then that's really hard too. And it can feel
Yes.
like, oh, I really need to express and talk through this experience I had with someone, but I'm really not supposed to say until you're going to watch me on TV and see what happened. And then it feels like it can feel really hard. Uh, and so I've been there. My first season was like a major like high and then a major low with like qualifying was amazing and then semifinals was not amazing. And so I had to live through that experience. And so I just think the point I'm trying to make is it's important to look at the whole experience and realize that there's still going to be good things and perhaps disappointing things that can come out of it, but let's like really look at all of the good things. I made so many
Yes.
friends. I had an
Yes.
amazing opportunity to put myself out there. I definitely built my own confidence in just being brave and like courageous enough to try something so challenging and like
Yeah, any
crazy.
competition. The fact
Yeah.
that you signed up and went is like
Yes.
an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just think like keeping that balance is so important and then being able to take it back to who am I as a person, you know, maybe I didn't get as far as I wanted on the course, but I grew in all these other ways and just being
Yeah.
able to reflect on that. Yeah.
It doesn't define you how you did. If you realize that you have things outside of this, or like you said, all of the good reasons that you're doing this, how you
Right.
did does not define who you are. Even if you did well and you won the $1 million, you still have things outside of Ninja that define who you are.
Exactly. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Is there anything else that comes to mind when you're just thinking about kids you coach or just like that mindset in general of anything else you'd like to encourage the ninjas listening about?
I would say, what I always tell my kids, especially whether it's with Ninja or with music, like make sure that you're having fun. That's the biggest thing. Because I know I've had some experiences where I've been frustrated at training or competitions or whatever, and my friends will be like, maybe you should just take a little break, because if it's not fun and you feel overwhelmed, you're putting this pressure on, it's okay to take a break, and it's
Yeah.
okay to take a step back and come back to it.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree. I at the National Ninja League Regionals event this weekend, we had like a little colored square out on the table where you could grab one and fill it out, and we encouraged people to like write something on it that was going to be encouraging to the Ninjababes community at large, and we're going to take photos and put them on social media.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, so some of those would have already been on our social media this week, and then today's Friday, so we'll be doing it again this weekend with the
Okay.
adults and the teens who come to the event. But so I was so personally encouraged and like, wow, this is such a good reminder. It was exactly what you said. So many people wrote, like one girl wrote, if it's fun, you won. Or
Oh,
if,
I love that.
yeah, it's super cute. Or just like, remember, this is supposed to be fun or whatever. There's so many reminders about having fun. And it's so true. And
Yes.
I know I need that reminder as well to like relax and like stop putting pressure on myself and just enjoy the
Yep.
experience. Yeah.
My dad and I just did the UBW competition this weekend.
Oh, awesome.
And so after every course, we got to run stage 1 side by side, which was really fun. And then after every course, we always just look at each other and we were like, forget about like what you failed on, what you did. Did you have fun? That's always the
Yeah.
first question we ask each other. And that really helps just mentally, like having someone remind you, did you have fun? Then it doesn't matter how you did.
Right. Exactly. Totally. I love it. Well, we're moving towards the end of our regular episode here. And for everybody listening, you probably are familiar with the fact that we are fueled by Patreon donations. So if you would like to become a Patreon subscriber, you can head on over to patreon.com/ninjababes. And what that means is you will get bonus content. So Megan and I are about to record for like another 10 or 15 minutes. And all of that is the special bonus content that goes only to the Patreon subscribers. So there's different levels that you can subscribe at, anywhere from $6 to $55 a month, and that really drives the Ninjababes budget and allows this podcast to continue to grow and allows us to do more and more events and find ways to support the community. So Megan, this is the end of the regular part, so let's say goodbye to all of
All
our
right.
non-subscribed listeners.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on here today. This is super exciting for me, my first podcast. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. Be strong, be you, be a ninja babe.
Yes, love it.